If we look carefully what happens when we click on the sum function that we have here in the toolbar, we see what it adds in the formula bar that we are already familiar with is some brackets, and here inside it suggests. We see that the moment I selected the function, it suggests, which is why it is in negative, that I must surely want to add these three values that I have here to the left. It has indicated the range here from E9, G9 and is in negative, meaning that if I, in this moment, type any other range, logically the other range is going to take the place of this one, which is simply the suggestion by Excel. In short, what it is interesting to know is what is the exact syntax of the functions. So to enter functions in Excel, we will use the equals sign. Then we will put the name reserved for the function I want to use each time. In this case it is the function sum brackets. The use of brackets is compulsory. I am going to enter what are the arguments. That is, the variables elements that it has to use, in this case, this function, in order to obtain the result. Well, in this case it is this range from E9 to G9, but anyway, we could highlight any other range. We could say that we want to highlight these ones. Whichever I click on, this is the one it's going to write in. Well, and in addition, we see here that if, with the Control key, we click on another range, what we are doing is adding the contents of two different ranges, and we see that these two ranges are written in the arguments area of the function. They are written as two ranges separated by a semicolon. That is, that the exact syntax of the functions of Excel is, enter in the functions bar an equals sign, the reserved word of the function brackets, and separated by a semicolon, one or more, or there is even a role that has none, which has 0 parameters, but in general they will have one or more parameters separated by a semicolon. This is, in short, the function. We will use tools of this kind, or we could enter them directly. That is, if I put here equals sum, even if I put it in lowercase, Excel knows that I am trying or thinks that I am trying to enter a function, and here it gives me an assistant. Sum, brackets. Here I would type the range, for example, from E9 to G9. E9 colon to express the range G9. And now, for example, semicolon, semicolon, and another range that I would give it, for example, E22. For example, E22 colon G23. Anything, absolutely anything, however complicated. In this case it doesn't make much sense, but we're using some values, and simply, we are going to see that by entering these data, this reserved name of the function brackets, argument separated by semicolon, Excel is not going to have no problems recognizing it. That I want to execute this function on these parameters that I have given it, and it will give me a result, whatever it may be, which is what I am looking for in order for me to carry out my analysis of the set of grades, because I want to obtain some specific information. Well, and that simply is what we have to remember is the syntax of the functions in order to enter them correctly, because if not, it is not going to understand it as a function. It will give us an error, or will interpret it as if it is not a function. It will understand it as the contents of a cell, alphanumerical contents, etc. And logically it will not execute the specific or advanced function that we want to carry out.